Gonna take you on a tour around the property this morning. Still a little drizzling out. We finally got rain yesterday. Been needing it for a while. Start down here at my raised bed made out of tires. Got peppers in this first one. They look like they need some kind of nutrient. They're a little yellow. Second tire has some peppers in it, and it also has some volunteer tomatoes that have come up. We had tomatoes there last year. And we have tomatoes in the rest of this row. I need to tie this tomato up to the cage. Got a tomato in a bucket. Got some tomatoes in buckets over there, some carrots, some peppers. I've got celery, kale, lettuce, spinach, all still growing. The spinach has started to bolt. So we're pretty much done with spinach in there. I've got some watermelons planted down on this end of this row in the ground. The other end I have some lettuce and tomatoes. Then I have tomatoes in these tires. Has some more watermelons, different types of melons, cantaloupes in the ground here. And I've got peppers in these tires. Over here we've got squashes and zucchinis. Cucumbers in the next row, okra in the next two rows after that. Tomatoes down this row with collards at the end of the row. Tomatoes down this row with a couple of small cabbages. Got an eggplant and a pepper. Got some turnips in the tub. I harvested some of them for Mom and Dad this morning. Got some cantaloupe in a tub. Got some kale. There's some basil in with the tomatoes in the ground out here. And got a row and a half of cabbages here. The rain has filled the totes up. Inside the greenhouse, the only plants I have from seed left to put in the ground, I have a few hot peppers and a few more mild peppers. A little bit of bee balm, a little bit of Chinese white celery that I'm going to try to get going. I've got some tubs in the greenhouse with radishes and carrots. I'm trying this new GoPro mounted, so I'm not exactly sure where the camera's pointing at times. Hopefully it's going to come out all right. We'll go take a look at the chickens. In this first chicken yard and in the first coop, I have my middle-aged chicks. These chicks are 8 weeks old, 9 weeks old. I'll have to look it up to be sure. In the second chicken coop, I have my oldest chicks. These chicks are about a month away from starting to lay. Then over in the third chicken coop and third chicken yard are my laying hens. Inside the chicken coop, in between the first and second coop, I have my youngest chicks and a brooder. They're just about ready to move out of the brooder. And this is where I keep the feed and all my supplies. These chicks are Golden Comet, Red Sex Link. Golden Comet, it's all basically the same, just different types of Red Sex Links. The ones that are mostly white with a little bit of black are Easter eggers. The ones that are barred black and white are Barred Rock, of course. And then the reddish ones with black are Well Summers. And my older chicks, I have Sapphire Splash and Red Sex Links and Well Summers. I have a Well Summer rooster there named Rudy. The first Well Summers I bought were straight run, and I ended up with one rooster in the bunch. I don't mind. I like the idea of being able to raise Well Summers. They're a beautiful bird. I also have some Amber Links in those oldest. The white with black is an Amber Link. Catherine's coming home today. She's been gone all week with a friend of ours working at an athletic event for the TSSAA, Tennessee Secondary Schools Athletic Association, I think is what it stands for. They're coming by today to drop Catherine back off home, and I told them I would give them some celery since I have plenty. We can't eat it all. I wrap newspaper around my celery to blanch it. It's a nice stalk of celery. When we do go to the store, we always have these plastic bags, and I save the bags, if they're not torn up, to reuse. They come in handy when I'm harvesting things out of the garden, when I'm delivering eggs. Walk up the hill to the upper garden. Have 4 rows of beans that are double rows. Got a few gaps in them. I'll go back and plant some beans in the gaps. Get Catherine to help me, or Billy. Billy and I did plant some seeds in the gaps in these first 2 rows. We just didn't do the last 2. I've got T-posts and fence to put down in between the double rows, and the beans will grow up on either side of the fence. I'll show you that in a minute. It's in the back of the pickup truck. And then over here, amongst the weeds, I have 5 double rows of corn planted. Catherine ran the seeder on these and planted them. Beyond that, there's a few peas in the weeds over there. Never had much luck with peas, and they didn't do too good over there, and the weeds have just about taken over what little peas there are there. I'm debating whether I just want to till it under and plant something else. Mom's flower bed up here. I've got to get in and get some of the weeds out of it. Clean it up a little. Flowers are starting to bloom. The Rose of Sharons have both come back after being bitten bad by the frost. peonies have pretty much lost all their flowers now. The roses have started coming on though. I've still got to finish putting the edging around this bed. And there's the T-post and the fencing I'm going to use for my beans. Might also use some of that fencing for those rows of tomatoes I have in the ground. And that way I can tie my tomatoes up. I've got some peaches coming on my peach trees. And the grapes, I don't know if they'll do anything this year or not because of the late frost catching them. They did have grapes on them, and then we got a frost, and I imagine it killed it all off. But the grapes themselves, the plants have bounced back from the frost pretty good. I need to get them trained up. Christian had Jonathan's pool out here, so Jonathan could be in the pool in the shade. And we had this tarp out here so they could sit in the shade. Got 4 plum trees down here. I can see 1 plum back in there. I'm sure there's others I just can't see. This used to be a stand that Dad had bees on. And I'm thinking about turning it into a stand for me to put buckets of plants on. That way I can, or containers of plants. And that way I can do a lot of container gardening. Now there are several plums on this plum tree. This is my biggest plum tree. I do see a few plums in here. There's quite a few up there. And this plum tree has quite a few plums on it. If the bugs and the birds will stay off of them, might have some pretty good plums this year. This stand will make a good stand for me to have container plants on. I don't have to worry about weeds growing up under it because it's got concrete under it. just put some, I'll take and cut some pallet boards and put across the top of it that I can set containers on. And this area gets a little bit of sun. It's shaded for quite a bit of the day, so it's only partial sun, which would be good for growing plants that don't like heat that much. Today is actually a cool day, but we've been up to the 90s already this year. These are my laying hens in the third chicken yard. It's my biggest chicken yard, and it's my biggest single coop. Have one rooster in there. He was born here on the farm. The Bantams I used to have hatched him and raised him. He's actually a pretty gentle rooster. He doesn't go after people, which is a good thing. Have some goji berries growing here. I've got goji berries in tires down in the garden. And down this fence row, in the weeds, I have blackberries. You can see them coming on there. These blackberries have thorns. Blackberry cane is loaded down. This, I believe, is a multiflora rose, otherwise known as a weed. I need to get it out of here. These blackberries down here are thornless. And they're not as prolific. And they have a harder time fighting amongst the weeds, I think. Quite a few blooms on them down here. They're pretty thick on this corner. These vines have done really well. Over at the other corner, I have some more thorned blackberries. And then over here on the edge of the gully, near the edge of the property, I have blackberries grown in the wild. And there's quite a few of them. A little bit of honeysuckle growing back there. This is hayfield that our neighbor usually cuts in bales, that I am debating on doing something with it, either using it for pasture for animals or more garden space. Down here below my garden, in this area right here, I want to take and work up a patch of ground with enough space to go between my garden there and this spot, and between my chicken yard and this spot. And I can't get too far up under the trees. There's a gully over there. I've got one stump from an old pear tree right here that I would have to remove. But I would like to work this spot up and use it to plant some things. It's nice ground. And the thing about it is most of it is shaded for a large portion of the day. So I'm thinking I might be able to grow cabbages, broccoli, some brassicas in that area, even in the summertime. I didn't know gojis would spread as much as they do, but I dug up goji from my goji berries up there and planted some down here in these tires, and I think that's what these are. I planted gojis in this tire, and they completely took over the next tire and had started taking over the next tire. So if you're considering growing goji berries, just be aware that they do spread. I've got some kind of tree growing up there in the middle of them. I've got to get in there and cut it out. And we're back to where we just about started from. Altogether, we've got just under 5 acres